Hey everybody, I'm Mudslinger, and a few of you have requested that I try and do a tutorial on soldering brass tubing and flat bar and whatever you want to solder together anyways. I'll also going to be doing how to bend brass as well, but I'll probably do that in a part 2 episode. So let's get to see what kind of tools you guys are going to need just to solder together your basic brass stuff. Alright, so here we go. Obviously you guys are going to need some brass. This is 532 brass tubing. You can also get 1/8 by 1/8 square tubing. Actually, you guys can get whatever you want. The stuff I'm using is K&S engineering brass. You usually find it at any of your local hobby stores. With that said, you're going to need a pencil torch, plumbing solder, or also what works really well is regular solder that we use for soldering wires together. Also, you're going to need some flux. The stuff that I'm using is acid paste flux, which is an SP30. I've read in some tutorials from the steam engine forum that there's a paste out there that is not as non-acid, and they say it doesn't work quite as well as the acid flux does, so I lucked out. I had acid flux. So anyways, I haven't tried the other stuff, but I'm just going by word of mouth and what other people have tried. This stuff here works very well. Other stuff you're going to need some files. There's a 1/8 round file, flat file, and the one I use the most here is a half round file. Use this one here mostly for coping 532 rod or even 1/8 rod to fit over top of the existing rod for a tight joint. Anyways, so let's put this stuff aside here and let's take a look at what I've got kind of set up here. I've got one joint set up. This is 532 rod. And as you can see here, I've coped the end of it, and on this end here I've also coped it at an angle. So either way, that's basically what you're going to want. The tighter that it is to the pipe, the stronger it'll be, and the nicer joint it'll turn out to be. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll have to bear with me a bit. So let's fire the torch up here. We'll put some paste on there, and oh yeah, one other thing too that we're going to need is some sandpaper. You want to sand the joint as best you can, and that way it's like paint. You'll have the solder will have something to bite to as well. Which piece am I doing here? We'll just do a 90-degree joint here. Okay. Now the other thing you're going to want to get is a piece of wood. I like the wood a lot better. I mean, sure, it's going to burn, it's going to smoke a little bit, whatever. I can put nails in there to hold my pieces in place, and then usually just use a wrench or whatever you've got that's got a little bit of weight just to kind of hold the other piece into place. The other stuff that people are using is granite. It'll take all kinds of temperature and won't burn. So, where's my solder here? Well, I thought I had everything all prepped and ready to go, but I guess not. I always like to snip a little piece off, that way you can get, you don't have this big bulky piece getting in the way of your small pieces. So first things first, we're going to have to take some of this paste, your flux, wherever you want to put it. Just put it around your joint area that you want to weld, and then inside a bit and around. So just remember, wherever you put this paste is basically where your solder is going to go. So then we'll just do that. And we'll take this and pop it up against. And that's basically what you're going to end up with. Okay, here we go. Now you're not going to need a lot of heat, so just kind of heat it up a little bit. You see the paste melt. You see a little bit of smoke going too. Pull it away. You should be able to touch it. And then if it kind of pools up or up top, just give it a little bit more heat, and it'll kind of just flood in to the actual joint. Let it cool down, and then that's pretty much it. Solder basically is working off a capillary reaction where it'll actually suck right into the joint. And then with that said, and there you go. Kind of hard to see. So that's basically as easy as it gets. I mean, this stuff's so nice to work with. The brass is so easy to manipulate, to bend, to file, everything. It just, I've been on a brass binge for quite a while now because it's so nice to work with. This is another joint that I did a little while ago. Just make sure wherever you want solder to go, make sure you put your flux in there, and it'll just seep right into the joint, and that's that. It's a done deal. Okay, here's another neat little thing that I've learned with brass here. Usually when you go one size up from one size that you've begun with, or a size down, it will slip inside the tube. Now this works really nice for when you want to join two pieces together. What you really want to need to have though is a 90-degree shoulder here. That way when you actually take the two pieces and put them together, it'll be a completely tight joint all the way around. You won't see nothing. So with that there, we'll dip this here into the flux, slip her in, and then what I'll do is I'll take some flux here, put it on the inside there and around a little, and then slip it inside of this, fire the torch up, ooh, fire, sweet. Let her cool down, and that'll be that. This works out really good if you're making a front bumper and you've actually, your bumper wraps, or your main hoop wraps around the front fenders, and all of a sudden you're too wide and you've got this huge gap. What you can do is actually take cut the front of your bumper. Here, I'll actually show you on a demonstration on my bumper here. Let me back this up a little. Okay, so say in between your front fenders here, you've got this huge gap between here and your front fender. What you can do is cut your main hoop here, add a plug inside it, and realign it after you take out, say, a 1/4 inch or however much your gap is here to tighten up the tolerances. And yeah, there's tons of tips and tricks. Just as you go along, you'll find out. All I can say is just keep practicing, and next thing you know, you'll find little tips and tricks of your own that will help you go along making stuff. So, stick a quick boo at this here. And there you go. It's flush all the way around. So yeah, like I say, all I can say is it looks easy. It is easy. Just keep practicing it, and you'll find your own little tips and tricks as you go along. So yeah, hopefully this helps you guys out, and good luck on your projects.